You know what? I'm going to tell you something that's going to change your life. I mean, really change it. Not just a little tweak here and there, but a complete overhaul of how you approach everything. Be silent and act as if you have nothing to lose. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there, maybe fidgeting a little, maybe crossing your arms, and you're thinking, what's he talking about? How can being silent and acting like I've got nothing to lose change anything? Well, buckle up because I'm about to blow your mind. Let's start with silence. In this world of constant noise, of social media chatter, of everyone shouting their opinions from the rooftops, silence has become a superpower. And I'm not just talking about not speaking, though. That's part of it. I'm talking about inner silence. That quiet confidence that comes from knowing who you are now. You see, most people are so busy talking that they never take the time to listen. They're so caught up in trying to prove themselves, in trying to be heard, that they miss out on the most important conversations, the ones they should be having with themselves. But when you embrace silence, when you learn to quiet that constant chatter in your mind, that's when the magic happens. In that silence, you start to hear your own voice, your true voice, not the one that's been shaped by what others expect of you or by your fears and insecurities. No, I'm talking about the voice of your authentic self, the one that knows what you really want, what you're really capable of. And let me tell you something, that voice, it's a lot wiser than you think. It's got answers to questions you haven't even thought to ask yet. But you've got to be quiet to hear it. You've got to create space in your life for that voice to come through. So here's what I want you to do. Starting today, I want you to carve out time for silence, real silence. Turn off your phone, shut down your computer, find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, and just sit. Just be. Don't try to meditate. Don't try to think of nothing. Just be present with yourself. At first, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Your mind's going to race. You're going to have a million thoughts flying around. That's okay. Let them come. Let them go. Don't judge them. Don't try to control them. Just observe. Be the witness to your own thoughts. Do this every day. Start with 5 minutes if that's all you can manage. Work your way up to 15, 30, even an hour. Make it a non-negotiable part of your day, as important as eating or sleeping. Because let me tell you, this silence, it's feeding your soul. It's nourishing your spirit in a way that all the words in the world never could. And as you practice this silence, something incredible is going to happen. You're going to start feeling more centered, more grounded. You're going to start seeing things more clearly. The noise and chaos of the world won't affect you as much because you'll have this inner sanctuary of silence to return to. But that's just the beginning. Because once you found that inner silence, once you've connected with your true self, that's when you're ready for the second part of this life-changing advice. As if you have nothing to lose. Now, I can see some of you shifting in your seats. You're thinking, but I do have things to lose. I've got my job, my reputation, my relationships, and you're right. You do have those things. But here's the secret. Acting as if you have nothing to lose doesn't mean you actually have nothing to lose. It means you're not letting the fear of losing those things hold you back. You see, most people live their lives in a constant state of fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of looking foolish. And that fear, it's like a cage. It keeps you small. It keeps you safe, sure, but it also keeps you from reaching your full potential. But when you act as if you have nothing to lose, you break free from that cage. You start taking risks. You start putting yourself out there. You start going after what you really want, not just what you think you can safely get. Think about it. What would you do if you weren't afraid of failing? What goals would you set if you knew you couldn't lose? What dreams would you pursue if rejection wasn't a possibility? The answers to those questions. That's your real life. That's the life you're meant to be living. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. Acting as if you have nothing to lose takes courage. It takes guts. It takes a willingness to be uncomfortable to face your fears head on. But let me tell you something, on the other side of that fear, that's where the magic happens. That's where you find success, fulfillment, and a life beyond your wildest dreams. So how do you do it? How do you start acting as if you have nothing to lose? Well, it starts with that silence we talked about earlier. In that silence, you're going to find your truth. You're going to discover what really matters to you, what you really want out of life. And once you know that, once you're clear on your goals and your values, you start taking action. Bold action. Fearless action. You stop worrying about what others might think. You stop second-guessing yourself. You stop waiting for the perfect moment because you realize that this moment right now is all you've got. You start speaking your truth, even when your voice shakes. You start putting your ideas out into the world, even if they're not perfect. You start going after your dreams, even if you're not sure how you're going to achieve them. And here's the beautiful thing. When you start acting this way, the world responds. Opportunities start appearing, doors start opening, people start noticing, because there's nothing more magnetic, nothing more compelling than someone who's living life full out, someone who's not held back by fear. Now, does this mean you'll never fail? Of course not. You're going to fail. You're going to fall flat on your face sometimes. But here's the difference. When you're acting as if you have nothing to lose, failure doesn't stop you. It doesn't define you. It becomes just another step on the path to success. Because you know what? Failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of success. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of triumph is built on a foundation of failures. The only real failure is not trying, not taking that risk, not putting yourself out there. So I want you to start seeing failure differently. Instead of something to be feared, see it as feedback. See it as a lesson. See it as proof that you're pushing yourself, that you're growing, that you're really living. And let me tell you something else. When you combine this fearless action with that inner silence we talked about earlier, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not just taking bold action, you're taking inspired action, action that comes from a place of deep knowing, of alignment with your true self. You're not just rushing around, making noise for the sake of making noise. You're moving with purpose, with intention. Your actions have power because they come from that place of inner silence, that connection with your authentic self. And that combination, inner silence and fearless action, it's like a superpower. It's what sets the great ones apart. It's what turns ordinary people into legends. Think about the people you admire most, the ones who've really made a mark on the world. I guarantee you they've mastered this combination. They know how to be still, how to listen to their inner voice. And they know how to act boldly, how to put themselves out there without fear. That could be you. In fact, that should be you. Because you've got greatness inside you. You've got dreams, ideas, talents that the world needs. But those things don't mean anything if you keep them locked up inside, if you let fear hold you back. So starting today, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to cultivating that inner silence and to acting as if you have nothing to lose. It's not going to be easy. There will be days when you want to retreat back into your comfort zone, when the noise of the world feels overwhelming, when the fear feels too big to overcome. On those days, I want you to remember this moment. Remember why you're doing this? Remember that on the other side of that fear, that discomfort, is everything you've ever wanted. Remember that you are capable of greatness, but only if you're willing to push past your limits, to silence the doubts, to take those bold actions. Start small if you need to. Find one area of your life where you can practice this. Maybe it's in your job. Speak up in that meeting, pitch that idea you've been sitting on. Maybe it's in your personal life. Have that difficult conversation you've been avoiding. Tell someone how you really feel. Maybe it's in your goals. Set that ambitious target. Take that first step towards your big dream. Whatever it is, Do it with the confidence of someone who has nothing to lose. Because here's the truth, the only thing you really have to lose is the chance to become who you're truly meant to be. And that's a loss you can't afford. As you start doing this, as you start combining that inner silence with fearless action, you're going to notice changes, not just in your external circumstances, but in how you feel about yourself. You're going to start trusting yourself more. You're going to start feeling more alive, more authentic, more powerful. And the people around you, they're going to notice too. They're going to be drawn to your energy, to your confidence, to your authenticity. Some might not understand. Some might try to pull you back into your old ways. That's okay. Not everyone is ready to live life this boldly, but the ones who matter, the ones who are meant to be part of your journey, they'll be inspired by you. They'll want to know your secret. And when they ask, you can tell them. Tell them about the power of silence, about the freedom that comes from acting as if you have nothing to lose. Share this message, spread it far and wide, because the world needs more people living like this. The world needs more people who are willing to be quiet enough to hear their inner truth and brave enough to act on it. Imagine a world where everyone lived this way, where people weren't held back by fear, weren't drowned out by noise. Imagine the inventions we'd see, the art we'd create, the problems we'd solve. That's the world we can create, one person at a time, starting with you. So here's my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, I want you to commit to this practice. Every day, spend time in silence. Start with just 5 minutes, if that's all you can manage, and work your way up. Use this time to connect with yourself, to listen to your inner voice, to get clear on what you really want. And then every day, I want you to take one action as if you have nothing to lose. One bold move, one risk, one step outside your comfort zone. It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be authentic, aligned with your true self, and a little bit scary. At the end of those 30 days, I want you to look back and see how far you've come. Notice the changes in how you feel and what you've accomplished in how you show up in the world. I guarantee you, if you commit to this fully, you won't recognize yourself. You'll be stronger, more confident, more alive than you've ever been. And that's just the beginning. Because once you've experienced the power of this way of living, you won't want to go back. This will become your new normal, being silent and acting as if you have nothing to lose will become as natural as breathing. And that's when your life really takes off. That's when you start achieving things you never thought possible. That's when you start making the impact you were born to make. Because here's the thing. You weren't put on this earth to play small. You weren't given your unique gifts, your unique perspective, your unique voice just to blend in with the crowd. You're here to stand out. You're here to make a difference. You're here to leave your mark on the world. But you can't do that if you're drowning in noise, if you're paralyzed by fear. You can only do it when you learn to be silent, to listen to your inner wisdom, and to act with the courage of someone who has nothing to lose. So what do you say? Are you ready to change your life? Are you ready to tap into your true power? Are you ready to become the person you were always meant to be? The choice is yours. You can walk out of here and go back to your old ways, back to the noise and the fear and the playing small, or you can make a decision right here, right now, to embrace this new way of living. You be silent and act as if you have nothing to lose. I believe in you. I see your potential. I know what you're capable of. Now it's time for you to see it too. It's time for you to hear that quiet voice inside that's been trying to guide you all along. It's time for you to take those bold actions that will lead you to your dreams. Remember, the world is waiting for you. It's waiting for your ideas, your passion, your unique contributions. Don't keep it waiting any longer. Be silent. Listen to your inner wisdom. And then act as if you have nothing to lose. Because when you do that, when you live from that place of inner silence and fearless action, there's nothing you can't achieve. Now go out there and show the world what you're made of. Go out there and live the life you were born to live. Go out there and be silent, be bold, be you. The time is now. Your life is waiting. Let's make it extraordinary.